I made it, yeah. I made it. I made it. Oh, I made it. I made it, yeah. Yeah, I made it. Whoa, I made it. I made it. I made it. Oh, yeah. I, I, yeah, yeah, I made that. Those that know this song, you can sing it with us. And you might not know what it is right now, but you'll know in a minute. Somewhere right around here. Listen. Looking over my life, I see the road I've taken. I don't like it. Seems some things have got to be shaken. I checked it out. I've been in this thing too long. Gotta change my attitude. It's time to sing another song. Yes, I made up my mind. I'm going in another direction. 'Cause if I don't, I'll end in destruction.
Connecting the community through gospel.
The new 107.9 FM, W300EB,
Macon and WDDO 980 AM,
Perry.
Macon. Connecting the community through gospel.
The new 107.9 FM, W300EB,
Macon and WDDO 980 AM,
Perry.
Macon.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Ask Elaine, 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 ask Elaine.
Hey, hello. Can you tell we're rushing? I bet you can. Ah, Mr. Engineer, are we ready? We good? Oh, good afternoon. Since you see our smiling faces, you know that it's Wednesday. I want to welcome you to Ask Elaine, Wednesday from 3 to 4 every week. This is your talk, news, and information program. This is your voice, Commissioner Elaine Lucas, welcoming you to Ask Elaine. And we've got such wonderful information for you today. We're so glad that you tuned in. We want to welcome those who tuned in on AM those who tune in on FM, and those who can see us who are here on Facebook Live. Would you please like and share so that you can remind those who forgot that we were on, or something got in their way, they got busy and they didn't tune in right away, right at 3? So if you will like and share, just as a reminder, and if there's someone who misses the program today, remind them, share the program so that they can then go back and replay it and they can get informed as well. We want to thank you so very much for your loyalty. Thank you for tuning in and for traveling this road with us for about 10 years now that we've been doing Ask Elaine. And we are just so pleased that we're able to continue doing it. We want to thank our super volunteers in the office of EL High School Academy. We want to thank Ms. Humphrey and Ms. Glover, who are there volunteering um, and listening. If you would like a calendar or one of our uh, glorious writing pens, then stop by EL High School today. And you can pick up that calendar, you can pick up mask, you can pick up hand sanitizer. We've got just a number of little tokens for you there, all useful things. But we'd like for you to go by, and if you are interested, you know someone who's 16 and above who would like to go back and finish that high school diploma, by all means ask for an application packet and we'll be glad to work with you and help you to finish your high school diploma. Our school is accredited and we can show you the document. And so you don't have to worry about whether you can go on to college, technical school, military, a job, advancement on the job, whatever. And so we want to remind you that EL High School is there to serve you, and we would very much like to help you to earn your high school diploma. We've been in operation 12 years and we've graduated over 1,600 students who have gone on to great success, and we are very proud. So I just wanted to say that. We got some special guests today. Before I bring them up and introduce them to you, we want to thank everybody who showed up at the county commission meeting yesterday to voice your opposition to the bus fare increases. We think that we made a dent in some folks' feelings about this, and that we were able to convince some people to start looking a little bit more at what's going on in our community. And when these decisions are made, they need to examine them very, very carefully. We had ministers, we had bus riders, we had educators. We just had all kinds of people from all over this community who came and who weren't afraid to express their opinion that the bus fares do not need to be increased. We've already talked about our 25% poverty rate. We've talked about the 20% of our citizens who have no car. We can go get in our cars, but just think about somebody who has to depend on public transit. And when they increase the fees, they're not just increasing them for that one trip, but it's every trip that that person has to make to work and back. And for those folks who have to schedule the appointments on paratransit, let's say there's someone who has dialysis 3 days a week. That's a trip to the dialysis center and a trip back. Now it's 250 to go there, 250 to come back. The proposed increase is $1. And that's not just $1 on one trip. That's a proposed increase of $1 on all 6 of those trips. So let's think about other folks. Let's think about the fact that Georgia Power is increasing our bill 17%, I believe was the figure. Don't forget that all of these other things that people have to pay, that we have to pay, bus riders do as well. And everybody pays taxes. And this is my last point. Those folks who are riding, who are utilizing transit, they pay taxes too. and their money goes downtown to the tax commissioner. Their money goes to Atlanta, to the state, and some of their money goes to Washington, to the federal government. And all that money comes back to this community, and this community has gotten over $77 million in federal monies that have come back in addition to regular tax money. The school system has gotten 110 million additional dollars to work with our children. Many of these same folks are those bus riders that are going to be impacted. So these folks have already paid their fare. These people don't need to be burdened with additional fees and fare increases. And so we stand with them in opposition to any increase. And but a lot of cities are going toward free transit because they realize that citizens are paying for it anyway. They've paid for it already. In Washington D.C., their council just recently voted to go to fare free transit, and a number of other cities are going that way too. So we want you to sign. We've got about 250 people who have signed an online petition. It's on my Facebook page. If you want to go there and sign it, if you're friends with me or if you're a contact, I've already sent it to you. So please sign it. We have these paper petitions, and we, I believe, have 200 to 300 signatures on these already. And we will be presenting these to the Macon Transit Authority members, and we will also be presenting them to the commission, which funds the Transit Authority to the tune this past year of $2.9 million, which is matched by federal money of $2.9 million. So y'all add it up now. $2.9 million from your local monies from county government budget, 2.9 million from the federal that matches dollar for dollar what the local community puts in for transit. So what is that? For 6 point, what is that? 5 point what? 8 million already. Plus, I understand that there was some additional millions of dollars that came in for transit services under the Biden administration's initiatives. Millions of dollars. And I'm telling you, $77 million came in as a result of the Biden administration and Congressman Sanford Bishop, Senator Warnock, and Senator Ossoff. All of them have been working to bring money in here. Now, why in the world would we impose a fare increase on folks who are least able to afford it? Why would we do that? We need your signature, and we want to thank all those churches that took and individuals who took petitions and signed them. We still need people to sign so that we have 1,000 names that we can submit to these governing bodies so that they will put a stop to this. So much on that. But thank you so much for being in attendance. Your voices were heard. If you want to see the entire pre-commission and commission meeting, it is on Macon Bibb County Facebook page. You can go on and you can, there's a recording of the entire, a video of the entire pre-commission meeting as well as the commission meeting. And you can see all the comments as well as the central boys and girls basketball team being recognized, and also all women being recognized and put in the spotlight, because this month is Women's History Month, and today is International Women's History Month. So we salute all the ladies who are out there and the men who love them. Our statistics person, Patrick, is busy in the chat. He has already posted some articles, some references to some articles. He has the petition, the online petition there that you can click on and go ahead and sign. He also has the Channel 13 article where it talks about the $110 million that the school system is receiving and what it's to be used for. So if you think that your children deserve to be treated better or have more services, read that article and see how much money has come in and what it's being used for. Patrick has also posted an article on Macon Transit Authority raising the bus fares. And y'all, they said that they didn't know they had voted. They didn't think they had voted to raise the fares when their minutes state that they made a motion and a second and passed unanimously the motion to increase the fares. So if they did not intend to do that, then they need to go back and rescind that action, take another look at it, and we are calling for a thorough operational and financial audit of Macon Transit Authority. So you'll know where your money is going and you'll make sure that you have adequate and competent leadership there. Um, by the way, the director, Craig Ross, down at Transit Authority got mad because I came and presented the facts to the board that they did not need to increase the fares. And you know what that thing said as I was leaving the room? He said, I hate her. Well, you know what? I don't care. I don't care. I'm going to work even harder to make sure that we convince the Macon Transit Authority to rescind their vote on increasing the fares for those folks who are not able to absorb that. And that's the end of it. So he hates me. I can't say I love him, but I can say that he's another human being. That's what I'm gonna say. Anyway, all right, we have two young men here today. Mr. Cotton, welcome to Ask Elaine. And Zontian is a retiree from Macon Bibb, and he says whether he likes you or not, he still has to respect your position. He doesn't even respect the position. So, hey, okay, I know I've got some people who have my back, so that's okay. That's okay. We'll deal with it. There is such a thing as your job description and and ethics and all that kind of stuff. So we'll deal with all of that. Uh, you know, we'll deal with all of that. But I thank you. Y'all continue to watch my back and I'll watch yours. All right. Our two guests today, if our engineer can bring them up so that we can see who these two handsome gentlemen are. One's leaning. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to call on these two gentlemen to introduce themselves to you, and we're going to have a discussion of some important things that are going on in this community. The first person that I want to introduce you to is the new executive director of the Douglas Theater, Gina Ward, who has been there a long, long time, retired. And have they been hearing us? Thank you. Thank you. I'd hate to have to go back and say all that all over again. But this young man, Dr. Land, is the new executive director of the Douglas Theater. And I think I'll let him go ahead and introduce himself and then tell us about the job and tell us what he hopes to do. And then we'll go to our other guests. Welcome to Ask Elaine.
Well, thank you, Commissioner. And well, I'm Dr. Shelton Lane. I just go by Shelton. And being I'm originally from Virginia. I've been in Macon for about 10 years now.
Am I hearing you twice? Let,
Yes.
let's
Okay. How about now?
let's see. That's go ahead. I
That's
think
better.
that's
Okay,
better.
that's better.
Yeah.
Because I was hearing it too. Okay, I
Yeah.
see. So again, I'm originally from Virginia. I've been in Macon about 10 years, coming over from the United Way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've served as the vice president of education with the United Way, but I've been working with the Douglas ever since I have stepped foot into Macon. So I tell people I'm an immigrant, but Macon has become my home.
Uh-huh.
Um, and so I'm just so excited about being given the opportunity to lead the Douglas into their beyond. As many may know or may not know, they just celebrated their 100-year anniversary
Uh-huh.
in 2021. And so as they looked at their beyond and moving on, gracious and so thankful for all that Miss Gina Ward has done to help stabilize and bring robust programming to the Douglas Theater. And so now, I tell people I don't wear high heel shoes, but that's a big pair of shoes to fill. So I am excited. And, the vision is to continue to use the arts and to engage and involve people through preservation, through history, and just kind of like amplify what the Douglas is. And I believe the Douglas Theater, it expands beyond the borders of Bibb County.
Mhm.
And when you think about Central Georgia, period, the Douglas is a national treasure. It's a community treasure, but it's a national treasure. And so when you look at that and what it was meant, it's more than a theater. It was built as a space as a safe and comfortable space for African Americans to thrive. And so continuing with that vision of Charles Henry Douglas, the founder. And I tell people, when you break it down, it's just this simple. 1921, black African American man who was a millionaire during that time, doing
First millionaire, I
first
believe, in
first
Macon. Mhm.
male millionaire in Macon
Mhm.
to create a space. And so when you think about that, when you think about the KKK, what was it dealings and how people try to threaten him, and
They
he
were hanging people.
persevered and hanging people and throwing on the doorstep.
Mhm.
So the
Mhm.
significance of that. And
Yeah.
so again, my goal and my vision is to bring this beyond the borders. It was the launching pad for the greats of like Otis Redding, Little Richard, James Brown. And I always tell people, it was not for Mr. Charles Henry Douglas, there would be no me. So like an artist to be able to give their story and to share. And so I look to bring those things. I'm just excited about being in
Yeah, we
position.
can tell. We
Mhm.
can tell you're excited
Mhm.
about it, and we want to welcome you. We're just grateful that there was somebody to slide right on in there,
Mhm.
somebody eminently qualified when Gina decided to retire. And we do want to thank her for all of her years
Mhm.
of service and commitment to the Douglas Theater. Tell us what's going on with the Douglas this month. I know you do a monthly calendar, and
Mhm.
it's wonderful to receive that
Mhm.
in the mail. I see it online as well. And so it gives you an opportunity to see everything for the month and plan
Mhm.
for those folks who always talk about there's nothing to do in Macon. And I really dislike hearing that, because I just want to pull out my calendar and say, well, take some of these things that I'm doing, all of this stuff, do some of this, that, and the other. And so tell us about some upcoming things. This is Women's History
Mhm.
Month. And
Mhm.
so I know that there are some.
Yes. So, like you said, this month is all about the women. So we stand with the ladies. We're in celebration of the Women's Achievement Month. So we have a lot of different type of events. Like we have the quilted film screening. So it's called Quilted Healing. And so it's just done about like women, how they would use quilting. That's a film screening coming on Saturday. And we have and I have actually a calendar. Something told me to bring this calendar with
Uh-huh.
me
Uh-huh.
just to
Because
say
there's so many
it's
things.
so many things, and
Uh-huh.
sometimes it is so hard to remember. Then we have like our Macon Film Guild partner, so we bring in Saint Omer. Then we had Rock the Ballet. And then we had today. Actually, we had the Hidden Figures. So it's all about we're trying to highlight the women.
Did you
And
show the movie? You
yes,
showed the movie
we
today.
showed
I
the
Every
movie.
time that movie is on, I always stop. If I'm channel surfing, I always stop and watch it. It is so inspirational. As a matter of fact, we kind of strongly suggest that our students at EL High School view that
Mhm.
movie, because it is based on a true story,
Mhm.
the true lives of three fantastic black women
Mhm.
who, broke the ceiling
Mhm.
on some things. But it's a really good,
It is.
it's a good light kind of
Yeah.
a movie. It's not, a rape or killing a minute or something like that,
Right.
but it talks about our history and women who did some fantastic things. But anyway, I digress. Go ahead.
But no, but that's good because that's what we want to do. We want to shine the spotlight
Hmm.
on women, especially women that are unsung. I think a lot of times when we think about women and all of their achievements, and they are the backbone
Yeah.
of America, of our community. You know, they're beyond being the mother, the aunt, the caretaker, the nurturer. So when you
Hmm.
think about that, the Douglas, that's why this month is so special to us. Just like February is very significant to us as well. Just again, continuing to shine the spotlight on women. Then we have a making cherry blossom sanction event this
Yeah, we got
yeah
cherry blossom
coming
coming up.
up.
Everybody's gonna be pink. Everybody's gonna be pink. And here again, people talk about, oh, that's white folks stuff. That's white folks event. Listen, your money is green, their money is green. All of our green money goes into helping to support all of the efforts, and we have done it for about 40 years for Cherry Blossom. And there are spotlight countries, there are all kinds of things that you are helping to pay for. So if you want to sit home and let somebody else enjoy what you have paid for, then that's you.
Hmm.
But I would tell you there's nothing that happens in Macon Bibb County that you, taxpayer, don't have don't have some money in it. So, just let the rest of us enjoy,
Okay.
the benefit of your
Mhm.
tax money. I'm telling you, your money went in there. You can believe me if you want
I
to.
love it. I love it
But
so
we don't pull your money out when it's time to pay. We don't pull because you don't go to that. We don't pull your money, your money out. We want to welcome Overseer Mabel Randall, who's joined us. She's with God's Way Church Ministries. Good afternoon to you too. And she says hello to the guests. Well, of course, they can see the information in the chat. Steve Bryant calls us each week, and he's calling from Virginia. He grew up in Pleasant Hill, not far from here. We want to welcome Wade Horton, and we want to thank Wade. Wade has a disability. He's visually impaired, but Wade makes it to a whole lot of things. And he was there on last evening and addressed the commission. He uses paratransit, and he would have to absorb this increase that they're talking about. But if Wade, who has these challenges, can get to these places and speak on your behalf, there's something wrong when that happens. It's like people who have handicaps who go vote, and other folks just sit and don't,
hmm
they just fuss about stuff. And of course, Patrick is there, Mr. Cotton is there, and the others. We want to welcome you to Ask Elaine. This is your voice, Commissioner Elaine Lucas, thanking you for joining us today. It's Wednesday, and every Wednesday from 3 to 4, we're here on historic WDDO, and we hope that you'll learn something. Every week, we want you to learn more. Today, we have as our first special guest Dr. Shelton Land, who is the new executive director of the Douglas Theater. And he's been telling us about himself, his background. Of course, you are a Black male, so you are eminently qualified for what you're doing. It wouldn't be any other way, right, Joshua? All right, we have to be, we have to be, you know, Trump can come out of nowhere and has just been horrible all his life, his whole family, and can be president of the United States. But a Black man, Barack Obama, had to be perfect and then some. He couldn't wear a tan suit. Michelle couldn't have her arms. I tell you. So if you see, as Former state representative Calvin Smyrie says if you see a turtle on a fence post, you know somebody helped to get it there. So we got to help each other.
Mhm.
I hope that made sense.
Mhm.
Did that fit? Not quite, but
Not quite,
it kind
but
of
we get
was.
where you're
It
going. We
was in the
tracking with you. Yeah,
neighborhood.
we
Y'all
tracking
got me.
with you. Yeah.
Okay, let me let you go ahead and talk about the Douglas Theater. I'll try to think of something better.
No, and like I said, we just gonna continue to highlight this month because it is Women's History Month, and and I tell people, Women's History Month is 24/7 for me because women throughout history, not just this month, but we're spotlighting events. Again, we have our sanctioned cherry blossom event, the Speedy Steve show. So that's a
Mm.
variety show, and then we move
Oh.
on into April with some of our things, and then we kick off in May with our annual and our signature Jazz in the Courtyard
Hmm.
event. So we're putting that
Oh,
lineup
that's
together.
great.
Yeah,
People love that.
yeah. So
You
we're gonna,
that's well attended.
yes, we're gonna really, really highlight this year, and really, we're just trying to really again amplify all of the things that we do and bring in some new robust programming.
Hmm.
Because the goal too is to engage and involve the collegiate students. Hey, the Douglas celebrated 100 years, but for it to survive another 100, we need the next generation to
Hmm.
be engaged and involved. But I think understanding the history, connecting with the history, and they can
Right.
understand that this is a sacred place and what it means
Yes.
to the culture, what it means
Yes.
to the culture and the community. So,
Yes.
so we just
Okay,
excited.
tell us about rentals
Okay.
because a lot of people use the Douglas
Mhm.
Theater for various events.
Mhm.
So tell us about the rental.
Okay, so our rental process is just like you rent any other theater, but our prices are nominal. So when we think about it and what it's used for as a community space, we try to keep those prices low. But people can rent the theater. You call down, or you can go online and find
Hmm.
out about the rental processes. And we're doing kind of like a little bit of an overhaul of our website as well, so people can
Hmm.
then begin to connect like digitally or electronically.
Right.
But the rentals, you call, and if the date is available, you hold the date, just like any other rental process. But yeah, so that's how the kind of like what our rentals do. But our rentals fill up fast. I think we are
Yeah.
almost booked already for the rest of the year, like far as our rentals. So we stay
Right.
booked. So I tell people, if you have an event and you've been thinking about this event last year, you need to call.
It's a wonderful space
It is.
and it's not a huge
It's
space.
very
It's
intimate.
not real expensive. It's very reasonable,
Mhm.
nice, clean.
Mhm.
It is owned, the Douglas Theater is owned by Macon Bibb County. In other words, you taxpayers
Mhm.
own it.
Mhm.
That's another thing. I keep reminding people of all the stuff they own, all the stuff they've paid
Mhm.
for. I don't think y'all believe me when I tell you y'all own all this stuff. Y'all own City Hall, y'all own the courthouse, y'all own the
The
Douglas
theater.
Theater,
Mhm.
y'all own the Tubman Museum, y'all own the Sports Hall of Fame, the Terminal Station, all of those things. Y'all own a whole lot, all the recreation centers, the
Mhm.
Lucas Senior Citizen Center, Luther Williams Park, all of our passive parks. Y'all own a lot of stuff that you really need to take advantage
Mhm.
of going and using. So I just like to remind you that you own a lot of
Mhm.
stuff.
You own it.
Own a lot of stuff. You
You
got to
own
go see. Got to go see what's going on. All right. Now, is there anything else that you'd like us to know about you or about the Douglas Theater or anything else?
Well, I just want people to stay tuned because I am going to have a open forum where I am going to host a Ask the Director because I want people to know
Oh,
me and I want to
okay.
get to know them. And I want to hear what is it that you want to see? How can we get stronger together and better together? So I'm going to invite the community out because I know that Gina had been there so long, so people have relationships with her. And so I want to help usher myself in, along with the board to say, hey, I am a open, very transparent person. And
Yeah.
I want to hear from you and I want you to hear
Yeah.
from me so we can get to know each other.
That's great. Well, you are in the budget, the Macon Bibb budget, since Macon Bibb citizens own the Douglas Theater. Did I say y'all own the Douglas? And so you're in the budget. And there are some things that y'all have requested. There were a few things I think that we put in the splost.
Mm-hmm.
New curtains, the bathrooms
Mhm.
hadn't been redone since the original renovation. There were a number of things.
Mhm.
When you've been there a long time, you remember
Mm.
stuff. You remember things. So it's been my pleasure to be able to vote and support a lot of these things. But if we don't know, we don't know.
We don't know.
And so former Commissioner Bert Bivens was a big advocate of the Douglas Theater. And so when there are things that are needed, then please don't hesitate to um, I know you've got a board
Mhm.
that you'll go through, and they would of course give their support to the things that you say you need. But y'all, please don't hesitate to ask for what you need, because other folks don't hesitate.
Mhm.
And when they don't hesitate,
Mhm.
they get, they get
And
squeaky wheel.
mhm.
Uh-huh. Now
Honestly.
that's the right reference, isn't it?
Yeah.
Squeaky wheel. Squeaky wheel.
Mhm.
And so we want you to remember that. Um, Tubman Museum had something. We were down there for the kickoff for the re-election of District Attorney Anita Reynolds Howard. Y'all, she's running for re-election, so y'all please support her. But we were down there, and there were one or two things that the Tubman needed. And I said, well, you got Henry Ficklin right here in the room, who's the mayor, he's the executive director of community affairs. So get him a letter, let him know what's going on, what's needed. You're going to be hosting a number of cherry blossom events. You don't want those things to be a problem during that time. So, get busy. And sure enough, they did. And I think there's a solution in the works. You
Wow.
have got to open your mouth and let people know what you
Absolutely.
need.
Mhm.
You're
Absolutely.
working on behalf of the citizens.
Mhm.
It's their facility.
Mhm.
You're empowered to take care of it,
Yep.
make sure it's run right and everything. So you got to let folks know. So
Absolutely.
that would be my word to you.
Absolutely.
Let us know.
And I received it.
All
With my
right,
arms, I
all
received
right, all right. I tell you, black men are smart.
it.
They are smart, y'all. They are smart. Black women are smart too. Happy Women's History Month. March is Women's History Month, and we were pleased last evening at your commission meeting to read and present a proclamation to all the ladies who were there. They stood at the front of the room and received that recognition. And so that is a part of the history because it's recorded in the minutes of our meeting that we declared that March in Macon Women's History Month, and we were very pleased to do it. We had representation from sororities, we had representation from the county, ladies who work for the county, police department. We had ministers' wives, and then some of the female ministers. So we had a good representation. If you want to see pictures or the actual taped the recording of that meeting, then go to Macon Bibb County and go to the recording of the video of the Macon Bibb pre-commission meeting and commission meeting, and you can see it as it happened on yesterday. We want to thank Dr. Shelton Land for being with us today. He's going to hang around, and whatever we're discussing, please have input as you see fit. We like that. Now, our next guest, and we want to welcome all of you who've tuned in on AM, FM. If you're on Facebook Live, please click like and share this to remind those folks who forgot that we were on from 3 to 4 today. What's Wade saying? Wade wants to ask you something, Dr. Land. He wants to ask, do you have audio descriptions for visually impaired people at the Douglas?
Yes. Yeah.
Did you hear that, Wade? Wade is visually impaired. And, I was talking about that he came down and addressed the commission in opposition to the fare increases. But he is an advocate for accessibility. And y'all, if you see somewhere in some facility that you remember you own, if you see something that doesn't work that you think is not compliant with the American Disabilities Act, then you please let Make and Bib know so that we can correct that. It is against the law for facilities to be out of compliance and not to be accessible for the handicap. It's against the law, y'all. So let us know. But anyway, Patrick says choose the Douglas Theater for corporate meetings, banquets, parties, lectures, or receptions in the annex. He's done a whole
Yep,
little
that's it.
spiel there
That's
for
it.
you. So now our next guest is Mr. Joshua James Billings. And he is going to further introduce himself. He's going to tell you about his background, although it can't be that much, but maybe tell us what you've been doing in your short lifetime.
Sure.
And then also tell us what you're doing now. And we're welcome to Ask Elaine. We're glad to have you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank
Okay.
you. I'm glad to be here. My name is Joshua James Billings, and previously I was an organizer for the Democratic Party of Georgia. I am currently serving Macon-Bibb County as the chair of our county's Democratic Party. So my experience, as I mentioned, was being a political organizer, working on Senator Warnock, Congressman Bishop's reelection campaigns. It's my third year in Macon-Bibb, as y'all can probably tell from my voice. I'm not from around here. I'm originally from Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, we didn't.
I get it all the time. Well, no worries. It's
you say y'all, don't you?
I do. They do.
All right,
They
then.
say that.
You're
There's some transference, and I'm happy to be here. Been calling Macon-Bibb home, and joining my relatives. My family has its roots from down here, as you mentioned. What was going on in the 1920s? That's why my grandparents, they met here and they raised their family in Ohio. But
okay.
we're glad to be back, and I just love being part of this community. There's plenty to do, as the commissioner mentioned, and it's made me feel welcome. So my goal as chairman of the Democratic Party is just to try to make the rest of the community feel welcome when it comes to advocating for issues that matter to them.
Well, of course, I'm a Democrat, and as far as I can tell, I'll continue to be a Democrat. That's the party that offers some sense. I can't see anything else that's out there. And so, why should someone become a part of the Democratic Party?
For sure. Well, speaking from my own personal experience, it was kind of an existential decision. When you hear some of the rhetoric that comes from the opposition, as a black man, I'm trying to raise a family, looking forward to raising a family. I just think what group is advocating for what policies are going to make me and my family safe, keep my mother safe. She's an older woman, so Social Security is something that's important to her. The opposition, they want to get rid of that. They want to gut that.
Oh, yeah.
And then in terms of Macon-Bibb's Democratic Party, I just think there's plenty of opportunities for young people, but really everybody from every generation in our community to get involved. But there's so many opportunities for you to get involved, make your voice heard, and get involved with what's going on in our city. And I've seen it's one of those situations where you get out what you put in. And I've been extremely blessed in the short time that I've been involved with the Macon-Bibb's Democratic Party to be able to make my voice heard, be able to get involved with our city, and be able to meet so many extraordinary people in such short time. So,
okay, well, we're glad to have you. With the Democratic Party has been at a low point. And with this community, always votes Democratic.
Right.
The majority vote out of here. Biden won. Well, he won Georgia too, but he won Bibb County. Democrats win Bibb County. And it's not just black Democrats either. There are white Democrats here too. But white Democrats have felt kind of pushed aside because they felt like it was assumed that there were only black people in the Democratic Party. But I think what you have done is to let people know to come on and join and strengthen this party, and let's give those people who are white who want to be a part of the Democratic Party, give them a place to come. In the past we have had a party that had black citizens and white citizens who worked together very successfully, and those Democrats, white Democrats, are still around. They just need to be told there is a party that's functioning, and one that's addressing the concerns, because white folks have the same concerns, whether some of them won't admit it. They don't think they have the same concerns, but whites have the basic same concerns as black folks. They want a safe environment. They want things that are fair for everybody. They want a chance at educating their children. They want a chance at a good job so they can do it for themselves. And that's all black folks want. You want the same thing. So I think by your presence with the Democratic Party, you can bring that about. A lot of the folks over in the Mercer area are Democrats.
Yes.
And a lot of them are now finding, well, the party is revived, reinvigorated. So let me come and join and take part and make sure that next year 24, when those elections happen, we have elections for mayor, all of the commissioners, the state reps, state senators, um, and then you have the presidential election, a number of elections next year. So we need to be ready.
We need to be prepared.
Okay, and I'm going to stop talking and let you finish what you were saying.
Well, I just say, yeah, I agree with everything you said. We need all hands on deck, and the more the merrier. So there's strength in numbers. We're excited to be welcoming our new members that we've, like, recently in our last two meetings, we've had new members come in. I'm looking forward to even more coming through. We hope to meet some folks when we're coming around. We're out and about in the community with Cherry Blossom coming up. We want to make one of my goals at least, for these next couple of months, is to make our presence known in the community, showing up not just only at Democrat events, but other organizations events. Let them know that we support Make and Bib. And it's just not that the Democratic Party is asking for Make and Bib support, but the Democratic Party supports Make and Bib. And you mentioned a lot of the things that were important to white folks and black folks. I have a little bit
Same
of
thing.
our organization's mission statement, which is our mission is promoting fiscal responsibility, civil rights, quality public education, healthcare access, access to transportation, which we talked about earlier, addressing veterans' concerns, and fighting for workers' rights. So if those are anything that's important, if any of those things are important to the folks that are listening at home, I implore you to check us out. Check out our website, check us out on Twitter, and try to get involved. We would love to have you.
Patrick has, well, we see Ricky Crawford has joined us. He's been involved in labor and organizing for a long, long time, and we welcome him. Patrick Davis does our statistics, and he's sort of our go-to person as far as the follow-up research and everything, and we're just so grateful to have him. I think I saw some other folks. Miss Lester has joined us. We have some very faithful people who tune in to Ask Elaine each week, and we certainly want to thank those who've joined us by AM, FM, uh, Facebook Live, whatever the medium is that you are using. We just welcome you and we thank you for being there. We want to let you know that we have two very, very special guests, Dr. Shelton Land, who is the new executive director at the Douglas Theater. Welcome, Pastor Lisa. Welcome. Oh, Ricky Crawford says he's at the state basketball finals. So those at the Coliseum, they're all over, aren't they?
Mhm.
They're
Yeah, they
all
are.
different places. I know we'll host some at the Coliseum too. Um, and we see Lila Harris. Um, oh, how do you assure when giving a donation to the party that it's not a scam?
So we have our treasurer, Mr. Marcel Lundy. He would be willing to. I mean, he can accept checks, but what you need to do is if you're making a check, a donation by check, make sure that you make it to Macon Bibbs Democratic Party. Make sure that you send the donation either to our PO box, which is listed on our website. That
Mhm.
way, is officially sent to our official location. Um,
All right, if
but
you
yeah,
will
that would
put that
be
information in the chat,
for
just
sure.
put it in there. And then, Ms. Watson, you can use that information to make that contact and make sure. Pastor Lisa is one of the coordinators of the Evangelical Ministers Alliance. And we who work along with the Dr. Martin Luther King board, we work with the Evangelical Ministers Alliance, and we support many of their activities
Okay.
that they have. Patrick has already posted bibdemocrats.com
Thank you.
donations and dues.
And
He's
that, and,
already got
and
you.
I was gonna. That's what I
He's
was gonna
already.
say. You go on the website, you got a big donation box, and it takes you the information
He-
directly.
So
he's got it.
I have a
Yes, sir.
question. How are you distributing the information so people can know like where are the meetings, where do we show up at?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Here,
So
let me flip my pages here. So we have our website. Mr. Patrick Davis already shared bibdemocrats.com / donations and dues. You can always check out our homepage, and that's where our announcements will be. We also share our announcements on our Facebook page,
Okay.
Making Bib Democrats. And if you follow us at Making Bib Dems on Twitter, I am sending updates through there. I do it pretty often, so you can always keep up with when meetings are first Monday of every month. The location for our next one is to be announced,
Mhm.
but mark your calendar. First Monday every month of next month. I believe that's April the 3rd at 6 p.m. So, but follow Making Bib Dems, bibdemocrats.com to stay up to date on everything.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Pastor Lisa has posted that the ML King Drum Major Awards, which is sponsored by the Evangelical Ministers Alliance, the EMA, which is a collaborative of ministers of different faiths who have come together, and they sponsor the marches, many of the January King events they sponsor. We, with the Martin Luther King board, we support and endorse those events, as well as events of the Mentors Projects and other organizations that are in keeping, have events that are in keeping with the life and works of Dr. King. Sammy Snell, hello. Welcome to Ask Elaine. Y'all please like and share to remind those latecomers that they're missing all of Ask Elaine. Ask Elaine, but thank goodness they can go back and play it back and see the entire show. We want to welcome all of you. Now, the Democratic Party. What do you need as far as folks being involved? What are the things? And then you can also chime in on what you need at the Douglas as far as volunteers, because I know you do.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. So things that we're looking forward to this year. One of my goals I mentioned at our most recent meeting was fundraising. So we are looking forward to hosting some events and inviting the community out just to join us to enjoy the company. But fundraising is a priority. So as we talked about donations earlier, you can always check out our website, makingBibDems.com and or bibdemocrats.com. Click the donate button, and you can donate directly to the county committee. In addition to that, we are looking to increase our presence in the city. So events like what Ms. Watson mentioned earlier, the MLK Drum Major Awards, I'm always looking out for events like that in the community for us to show up and show our support at in numbers. Finally, it would just be following us on social media, helping us spread the word and amplify different democratic causes throughout the city and reaching more folks. So those are my priorities: just reaching more people, increasing our presence, and fundraising.
We gotta remind these young folks too that us old folks are not always on social media. So when we capture a lot of people on social media, we also have to put something on paper and get those out. Maybe some cards or something that can be handed out at all of the churches and other events.
Thank
The
you.
Forest Johnson community event is coming up in, it's March or April. Anyway, we'll have that spotlighted next week, and we'll have the date. But Forrest Johnson, attorney Forrest Johnson, who has a local office, does it. It's coming up to Easter. It's around Easter, and it's a combination community event and Easter egg thing. I don't know where they're gonna find eggs this this year. Folks aren't buying eggs this year. They're raising their own chickens. If they got their own chickens, they can collect. But anyway, it's usually done in conjunction with a tribute to the Mighty Rock, who is um, uh, a disc jockey. He was um, a radio personality. It was the Mighty Rock. He was a little short guy, and his son is a part of a motorcycle. Eric Quick, part of a motorcycle group, and they have been doing the Easter egg hunt. But the last several years, they have combined with the Forrest Johnson event, and it's usually down at Carolyn Creighton Park, Central City Park. They have tables and community groups there who will be handing out different things. Black Voters Matter will be there. There'll be entertainment, food. They usually provide food for everybody who's there. Democratic Party usually is there, but handing out some things. But you can be there in an official capacity. I'll give you the name and number of the contact person when we get off air. The Douglas Theater. Those are opportunities, everything that comes along. And those of you who are listening, include these two groups when you do anything with your church, with your sorority, fraternity, whatever it is, and you want to inform people of these different things. What's going on with the Douglas? What's going on with the Democratic Party? Contact these folks and get them to be there and get them involved. Patrick has included some additional information. The Mighty Rocks 39th Annual Community Easter Egg Hunt and Family Fun Day. What's that? Quest Contracting and Engineering, in conjunction with Forrest B. Johnson and Associates and several other sponsors, present the Mighty Rocks 39th Annual Community Easter Egg Hunt and Family Fun Day. Patrick, you are fast on this. We're about to do it real big for the kids to volunteer or become a sponsor, and they have the number there. So there's your contact information. Thank you. And then Pastor Lisa has also posted the information for the Evangelical Ministers Alliance MLK Drum Major Awards. It's April 4th, the day that Dr. King was assassinated in Memphis. It's going to be at 7 p.m. at New Birth Baptist Church, 1830 Williamson Road. And that's where Pastor, mm, okay, we just had his name up here. He's going to be one of the honorees, Leon Ward. Pastor Leon Ward's church. Pastor Ward has been involved in stuff a long, long time, and it certainly deserves to be recognized. Um, we had the names of the folks who are going to be recognized. Pastor Lisa says the four NAACP reps: Maria Bryant, Willie Dumas, Idonia Jackson, Gloria Smith. Those are four folks that have just been in the trenches all of these years with the NAACP, and they really deserve to be recognized. Now, the pastors that will be recognized will be Pastor Sandra Berrien and Pastor Leon Ward. And then others in the community who've given service, Dr. Thomas Duval, who is a historian. He's a retired dentist from the Macon Bibb Health Department. We sure hated to lose him there, but he's working in the area of especially Black history, and he's a part of the Macon Bicentennial group, Macon 200. And then, of course, Lieutenant Reggie Thomas, who is just a wonderful person who's with Macon, the Sheriff's Department. And he does a lot of work in prevention. So those folks will be recognized. The Martin Luther King Board will be providing assistance and support to the Evangelical Ministers Alliance on that. And I'm sure they would be more than happy to have the both of you to be there and to represent. And if you have some kind a letter or a card, whatever that you wanted to present to the honorees, I'm sure they would be really happy to have you to be there and do that. And so I just think it would be a wonderful opportunity. These different events are wonderful opportunities, and everybody needs to be a part of these. These things don't just come about, just poof out of the air and they happen. People work hard to put these forth and to give all of us an opportunity to be involved in these different things. And so we've got the Douglas Theater here represented. We've got the local Democratic Party and the state Democratic Party. And I feel certain we're going to have some names that you will recognize on the state and national level coming in here, because Macon Bibb County is so important. So important. Mr. Engineer, do I hear that music that says it's time for us to get off the air? Dang, we always run out of time. The conversation is so interesting. Y'all, thank you so much for tuning in to Ask Elaine this week. Our special guests have been all of you, but also Dr. Shelton Land, PhD, who's the new executive director of the Douglas Theater, and also Mr. Joshua Billings, who is the local chair of the Democratic Party. And so we encourage you, please like and share this so that others will know what's going on and what they missed, but they don't have to miss it because they can review it over and over and over. If you need to get in touch with me concerning enrolling yourself or someone you know in EL High School Academy, please give us a call. We'll be glad to assist you in fulfilling that dream of finishing your high school diploma. You know more than you think. You know more than you think. And so this would be quite an accomplishment. Please get in touch with us and sign the petition in opposition to the increase in the fares for Macon Transit. So on behalf of our special guests, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you again next Wednesday for another edition of Ask Elaine.
Connecting the community through gospel.
The new 107.9 FM, W300EB.
Macon and